Share my screen. Okay, so you guys know content creation is my fave. I love it. I love it. And it's something that I am constantly learning. So I don't want you to ever think that like this is something that that I just have mastered. It is something I feel like social media is changing on a daily basis. And so I am learning there right there with you, and just going to give you some tips and tricks to get you guys going. I know that everyone's in a different stage in their social media. Some people don't have Instagram at all. Some people are working Facebook only. Some people are working Instagram only. Whatever it is, don't worry about your platform. We're talking about content creation that can go across any platform. So we're going to talk a little bit real quick about the things that you should be posting, okay? Personal content. This is going to be the majority of what you post. Kind of like what Lauren said, these people on Facebook, they want to know you. They're your friends. They're the people that they're following you for a purpose. So people want authenticity. For a while on social media, it became this place of curated photos and like a curated life almost. And that was the way it was for a few years. And in the last year, there's actually been this huge turn where people are kind of rebelling against that. People don't want inauthentic curated photos. They don't want, like kind of what Lauren was saying, my photos that I have taken by a photographer, they do not, whenever I use those photos, they never do as well as when it is just a photo that I've taken that has like at home with my kids on my lap. People want to see authenticity. They don't want to see a staged version of your life, okay? So personal content, okay? People want your life. They want to see the good, the bad, the messy, the fun, and they want to see the truth, okay? And people can see straight through things. And so this is super important. This is going to be the majority of what you post about. It's called the know, like, trust factor. This is where they're going to know you, okay? Your personal life. This has nothing to do with Plexus. The majority of what you post about is sharing your personal life, okay? That is what makes you relatable. What makes people trust you, they like you, and this is what is truly going to create engagement. So just think about this as like you're depositing into the relationship bank every single time you do this. This is building a relationship, even if it's just posting, okay? Because your network feels like they are connected to you, okay? So this is a huge part of it. The second is valuable content, okay? This is where you are wanting to add value, okay? Adding value, this doesn't necessarily mean talking about Plexus, but valuable content is something that is going to give your audience something. Whether like Allie, she's fantastic at going live and doing recipes. She does little graphics with recipes. That is added value, okay? That is something that she is giving her audience. Different things, whatever you are passionate about, how can you add value to your network? Okay, whether it's toddler tips or whether it's tips on gardening, anything like that, okay? How are you going to show up and add value? So that is, you're doing your personal content and then you're doing your valuable content, okay? The next one is shareable content. This is where you begin to expand your network, okay? So one of the ways that you can do this is by doing custom graphics or quotes. Quotes are one of the biggest things that get shared. You can also do live videos, things like that. But a post, it can be a well-written caption, copyright that is fantastic that people want to share. But think about some of the things that you can talk about or content that you can create that people would want to share. Okay, this is how you're going to, when people share it, their network then gets exposed to you, and that is how you gain new followers and new community, new network. So this is huge, and I will tell you, This is huge on Instagram, okay? Because I actually do this, like I make a quote and I post it in my timeline, and then you can look at your insights and see how many people share it, and you can kind of get an idea of what kind of content people like. It is so simple as you can go get a really common quote and just go to an app, put it on a pretty graphic, and then post it. Okay, you can post really simple things, but that are shareable. So shareable content is going to expand your reach like crazy. Okay, so thinking about that. Okay, content creation tips. Biggest thing that I can tell you is to batch your photos and your writing. Okay, this week I batched for the Plexus holiday collection. We were actually given like a whole thing for the next 2 weeks. These are the photos you need, okay? So 2 weeks ago, we sat down, I spent an hour. I took all the photos I needed for the entire 2 weeks. It has been the most amazing thing ever. I did this actually recently. It's kind of funny. I sat down, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I sat down and let me see if I can find it. Y'all are gonna laugh, but I sat down and took all of my Plexus supplement bottles, and then I made a pink drink. Let me see if I can find it. I made a pink drink, and I made a active, and I made a lean, okay? And I sat there and I had like several different shirts on. I'm never gonna find, I have a million photos. And I just sat there literally for an hour and did a little photo session in my house. And I'm never gonna find it. Oh, here it is, okay. You guys might not be able to see it. But anyways, I literally sat here and I took a selfie with every single of the Plexus supplements. And you guys, I edited the ones that I wanted, and now I have them in a folder. So anytime I talk about Vital Biome, I have a photo. Because let me tell you, the thing that happens is when we wake up in the morning and we kind of crash land, and we're like, oh my goodness, I have to make a Plexus post. I have no idea what I'm gonna say. Then you go scroll and you try to find something that you can copy and paste. I know that because I've been there many, many times, but what I'm learning is that pre-planning and having a kind of a calendar of what you're going to talk about, photos ready for it, it takes away the stress. So I'm going to encourage you, it's going to be one of your tasks this week, is for 30 minutes, I mean, it should probably only take you 15 minutes, but grab a pink drink, make an active, get your lean, get a couple of the bottles of your Plexus, and just take photos, okay? You can take selfies, you can take ones you holding it, get super creative, and just have them so that when you wake up one day and you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna post today, you have a photo ready, okay? Same thing with captions and writing. What Lauren was talking about is like after church, she feels super inspired. That is what I want for you guys. I want you to sit down at a time when you feel super inspired, whether it's, if you're an early morning kind of person, get up and one morning this week, or one morning, one afternoon, whenever it is for you, I want you to sit down and just write, okay? Write maybe 5 different posts, okay? Because then you'll have a photo, you can match up with it, and then you'll have your writing. So have this, you can write it on a Word doc, you can put it on your notes, and just have that writing. Because I'm gonna tell you, when your days are super busy and your kids are screaming, or you're at work or whatever, it's really hard to think creatively and inspirational in the fly. It really is. And so sitting down, this is one of the things that my business coach, she shared with me. She says she sits down on Sunday nights and she spends 1 hour and she writes all of her week's content at that time. In 1 hour, she knocks out the entire week. That, you guys, is going to take the stress off of you. Your content is going to be so much better because it's thought out. You're in a place where you're inspired, put some great music on, and write. The third one is plan ahead, okay? We're gonna get into this a little bit more, but we are gonna start planning ahead, planning out our weeks and planning out our months, okay? Because your it's kind of like, there's going to be times where, something happens that day and you want to post about it. Great. But I want you to at least have one post for every single day for the month of November and the month of December already planned. And then you can add in as things happen. And, as you decide, oh, I want to post about this today, add that in so that you're posting 2 to 3 times a day, but you have one high quality post every single day. Okay. So we are going to work on our plan. I think that's going to be something that is going to take a ton of stress off of you. And it's going to make your content so much better quality because it's going to be thought out and planned ahead. And it's all going to really come together. It's going to flow together well. Kind of what we were talking about. Do you post, what if, you're posting product, and then you look back and you're like, oh, I haven't talked about the business in like 2 weeks. This is going to help you have a plan so that it's all going to flow together so that you are doing branding and marketing and selling in a really simple way. When you are creating your content, always think about your target audience, about your client, okay? When you are creating content, it is not about you, okay? It's not about your story. It is about, maybe there's something in my story that is going to reach my client, my targeted audience, but it's not about the content that I'm making is not for my benefit, right? So when we are writing our content, we have to be so clear on who we are speaking to, okay? So always, always, always have that in mind when you are writing content. And the last thing is know, like, trust. I talk about that a lot because every single thing that you do on social media is to further, do they know you, do they like you, and do they trust you? Because once your network, once your ideal client trusts you, the sale will happen, okay? But sometimes we're starting at the very beginning. Do they even know me? Like, what do they know about me? What is predictable? Do they know where I live? Do they know how many kids I have? I mean, things like that of like moving into, well, do they actually like me? Is this somebody that would want to hang out with me? Would they want to go to coffee? And would they want to like do a play date together? That kind of thing. Moving into trust. Do they trust me? So you're going to have content that is building your knowability. You're going to have content that is your likability. You can use humor for that. That is something Kyle uses on his social media, is his humor. He and Jen Leith is also brilliant at this, using humor to connect, to make people really like you. You can use a lot of different things, but just think about how can I make people really like me? It's not about putting on an act. It's about using your natural giftings and skills and personality, but showing up in a way that is going to actually draw people to you. Okay, so key questions to answer in your content. When I was talking about you are writing your content, you are doing your photography, your photos, your videos, what do you talk about in this? Okay, how do you actually connect with people? Okay, these are some of the questions that you can ask yourself when you are sitting down and writing content, or when you are trying to come up with, what do I even talk about? Okay, so some of the questions that I sit down. Okay, if I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes and write out content, what truth does my client need to embrace about herself? Okay, so that will start when I ask myself a question. I start thinking, okay, the truth that my client needs to embrace herself, maybe that she's worth it. Okay, that's something for my ideal client. And my ideal client is a mom with little kids, and I look at, like, I think the biggest obstacle and barrier for a lot of my ideal clients is that they are pouring out to everyone else but themselves. And so the truth that I want them to hear is that they are worth it, that self-care is worth it, that they can be a better mom and a better wife when they are taking care of themselves. Okay, so I would then sit down. At that question triggered that thought in my mind, and so then I could sit down and write a post about that. Okay, so these are just some questions. You can screenshot it, and this might be helpful for you. What is keeping my client awake at night? Okay, what is keeping my ideal client awake at night? Is it finances? Is it their marriage? Is it, a debilitating disorder? What is it? Okay, and then start writing your content from there. I love this. I mean, what story from my life can I tell my client that she will deeply relate with to build her trust? That's where your story is so important. Your story is a bridge to them, okay? It's a bridge. Our story is not for our benefit. Our story is for their benefit. So what part of my story could I share that would help connect us, help bridge this, okay? So when you're delivering your content, there's lots of different ways to do it. This is what I was saying. It doesn't matter what platform you use at all. It matters in the content, okay? So there's for photos. Photos are so, so important, you guys. Quality of photos, not curated photos. It doesn't have to be professional photos, but it does need to look, photos, we are a visual, social media is visual, you guys, unless you're on Twitter. Social media is a visual place. So photos need to have some kind of cohesiveness, some kind of plan, okay? So whether you're using filters, I would highly, highly, highly suggest using filters so all of your photos look cohesive, but don't get caught up in your photos having to look perfect, okay? They need to look like you've put some thought and effort into it, but people want reality, they want authenticity, they want truth, okay? So photos are important, but kind of change the way that you think about it. They don't have to be professional curated photos, okay? People want real photos, but that means that you actually sitting down and taking good photos. And there's so many online like YouTube videos of teaching you how to take photos. Investing in a phone with a good camera is like, that's a business write-off for me. And that's a business write-off for yourself, is getting something where you can take good photos, okay? Live videos are probably moving towards king of social media. Mark Zuckerberg said that 95%, in the next 5 years, 95% of all content that is going to be consumed is going to be in the video format, okay? So it's not going to be writing, it's not going to be photos, it's going to be video. So if you're not comfortable with that, I totally get that. Live video is something that a lot of people feel uncomfortable with, but I'm going to challenge you and push you to start getting out there, putting yourself forward, because live video, you guys, is what that know, like, and trust factor. You guys, that right there, a live video hits all of that and it compounds it. When you go live and you talk, people feel connected to you in a way that they can't through words on a screen and through a photo. So live video is where it is at, okay? And that is the future of social media. Stories is a great place to start doing that, okay? Stories, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, I have mine linked so that I can do it on Instagram and it shows up on my Facebook. Stories is that safe place where you can go live, where you can do video and people connect to you, okay? So where your timeline, the things that you post are kind of like snapshots of your life. Stories is your day-to-day reality, okay? That's where I show up, and I mean, I feel like it's such a different place. I watch people's stories way more than I go through their timelines, because that's where people are showing up authentically. And there is this huge movement. If you kind of follow like algorithms or insights on social media, a huge movement of people watching stories, and they're not looking at timelines and post as much. Now, part of that is the algorithm. They are heavily favoring stories, and they're heavily favoring video over post. So that's just something to think about. If you're not showing up in your stories, do that, okay? Whether it's a quote, whether it's sharing someone else's content, whether it's Plexus stuff, but I'm going to encourage you to show up on video on your stories. Back in February, I made this challenge to myself that I was going to show up in my stories every single day talking. Like, for whatever I was going to say, I was going to show up with a video on my stories. And you guys, that I did not sign anybody in the month of December or January. But when I started doing that in February, I signed 13 people in February, and they were all strangers. It's because I was showing up on stories, and I was showing up with no makeup on. I was showing up just as myself and just being super real and authentic. That is what then catapulted March and April and May. I had huge enrollment months, and all of them were from Instagram, and they were all people that I did not know that had been following me on stories. So when we're talking about the power of you showing up on video, that is what it can be, okay? Another, of course, content is copyright and captions. Learning how to do some copyright, learning, what does your audience want? I actually looked through, did a quick, kind of just looking through what of my posts did well and what did not. And I saw, some, honestly, quotes and funny, like humorous stuff did fantastic. That's where I got the most likes. I got the most engagement in my post. Long post where I'm like pouring out my heart didn't get very much. People my audience does not like long posts. And I learned that. Some people's audience love that, okay? So knowing what is your audience and writing captions and content to your audience. And then the last thing is YouTube, Reels, and IGTV. Like I said, the future is video. And IGTV and Reels, you guys, that is where it's at on Instagram. Doing YouTube and building an audience there is also a big place you can do that. Reels, and right now Reels heavily are being favored in the algorithm, and networks, your network can grow like crazy right now by doing that. Okay, so here's some apps real quick that could be helpful for you. I know that earlier someone was asking about apps. These are the ones that I use every single week. Canva is probably one of my favorites. You can have a free account, and it's got pre-made templates. It has templates for stories. It has templates for Instagram, for Facebook. It has everything. It's super simple and pre-made, so it's awesome. Over is another app. There's a paid version, but it is a lot like Canva, but it has the pre-made templates for stories and posts. It's fantastic. So those are the two that I use the most. Then Unfold is an app that you can use for your stories, okay? So it's where you can create, like the other day I created one about my health journey. It's like a little 4 or 5 slides about my health story. So I used Unfold for that. So you can put photos in there, you can put wording on it, but it's a great thing if you want to make something for your stories, it's fantastic. InShot and Teza are both video. I think some of them do, I think they do photos as well, but it's a video editing thing. So I use both of those for my stories, and actually use them also for my IGTV. So I will take a video and then I will edit them in, either InShot or Tezza. Tezza actually is my favorite right now because on some of my stories, I will do like I'm pouring the pink drink and mixing up my drink. And then I'll do stop motion, and it makes the video look super cool. It's like a kind of like a slow-mo stop motion type of thing. Anyways, it's really, really cool. Tezza has a lot of fun different things that you can do on there. So there's filters, all kinds of things, but those two are for video. Then Word Swag, most of you probably use that for your graphics, but that's super simple. You can make quotes, you can make all kinds of super simple things on Word Swag. And then Lightroom Mobile. This is what I use personally for all of my photos. Any photo that I post, I use Lightroom. And then I have specific presets that I love and will use. And so presets are simply a filter, but presets give you a little bit more room to work with, where a filter is just a flat, it lays right on top of your photo. Presets go in where you can actually change, it's kind of like a layered filter, if that makes sense. So photographers use them, but now everybody uses them. And the reason why photographers would use them is because it gives you the ability to really change like the contrast and the brightness and all of that. So it gives you a lot more room. But what I love about presets is that you find the one that you love, and then you use it for all of your photos. So all of your photos, when I look at someone's social media, the hope is that if I'm just scrolling by, I should be able to look at someone's photo and know that that's their photo because of the way that they have their presets. That's the thing that you want. So like on my Instagram, my photos are dark with a little bit of warmth to them. So I do black, grays, whites, and browns. And that's pretty much the colors that I use. So I have a preset that just goes on top of that. So those are the things, presets you can get, there are free ones for sure out there. You can also go to Etsy and just type in Lightroom Mobile presets. And they're super great ones. Abby Kappa has her own version. Rachel Rogers has her version. So there's quite a bit. People, I know Bridget Ryan's daughter sells her presets. There's tons and tons and tons of presets out there, but you just kind of find what is your vibe. I think I've gone through like 4 or 5 different versions of presets to finally find the one that I like. So know that it takes some time. Okay, let's see. Okay, your monthly content. We're gonna jump a little quicker as we're getting down towards an hour. So monthly content, these are the things that you want. We're talking about the content that you're gonna create this month, okay? 60% of your posts need to be about branding. This is the personal content, right? This is where people are getting to know you and they're getting to like you. Super simple, it's your personal stuff, right? Okay, so 60% of your posts should be branding, okay? Your life is the brand, okay? Plexus is not the brand, okay? Has nothing to do with Plexus. You are not Plexus, okay? You are sharing your life. That is the brand, okay? Marketing is about 20 to 30% of your post, okay? Marketing is where you are talking about Plexus. You're sharing about, you're sharing a story, you're sharing a testimony, you're talking about maybe gut health, maybe you're talking about the probiotic, why gut health is important, why Probio 5, you know, what that does. This is a small amount, but you know, maybe a third of your post should be this, okay? And then selling. So selling is the smallest part of what you should be posting about, but this is where you are directly asking people to join you, okay? Selling is a bold ask, okay? So if you notice, like in a month, maybe 3 to 4 posts like this in the month, because you're working on branding, you're working on people knowing you, liking you, you're marketing, you're educating people, and then you come in for the sale, okay? So one of my Instagram, I went to this whole thing on Instagram, and she told me, she's like, 80% of what you post about is adding value to someone's life, and then 20% is asking for the sale. So thinking about that, okay? So you're going to be branding, you're going to be marketing, then very small portion, because you've added all this value into their life, then you come in and you ask for the sale. And this is important because if you don't ever ask for the sale, no one's going to come to you, right? We have to be bold and we have to ask for that sale. We have to give a call to action, or people will not. Most of them will just keep watching you for years. So giving that call to action. So this is an example post, posting calendar. Plexus actually provided this. This is one of their examples. You see on here, they have interact with people's posts, at least 3 of them every single day. This is huge. Engagement is so, so, so important, because as much as you create content, if you are not engaging with other people, then it's a one-sided relationship, and you're not gonna have that connection. So knowing that as we are talking tonight about content creation, don't forget the fact that there's so much more to it, that there's engagement, building relationships, messaging, all of that stuff that comes into this, okay? But this is just super simple. I mean, you can see family game night, like that, family hikes, your dog's playing in the pool. Like, these are things that when I think about like the McCalls, okay, I instantly, when I see this on here, dogs playing in the pool, I instantly think of the McCalls, because they are always showing their dogs playing in the pool. But it's things like that where people like can connect. Oh yeah, like I totally know them. So things like that. And then you've got your launch of the new product. You've got all these things, why we need probiotics. It's all like connecting together. Okay. So November, this is a calendar that Rebecca Folks made. And she has this broken up into a beautiful way. You can screenshot this. I also, if you want to message me, I have a PDF version of it that I can share it with. So she has it where it's marketing, branding, and selling. And if you see, she has it where 60% of these posts are dedicated to marketing, okay? 20% are to branding, and 10% are to selling. Now, this, remember, is one post for each day. You're also going to post more than that, of course. You're not just going to post once a day on your social media. Hopefully, you'll post maybe 2-3 times. But if you have this outlined, then you can fill in the gaps on the days, okay? So just looking at this, take a screenshot if you want. This is super helpful as we're moving into Thanksgiving and the power that you have on social media during the holidays. You guys, the one thing that's come out of this whole pandemic is the power of connection through social media. And I know that as we're moving into Thanksgiving, into the holidays, sharing your personal brand, sharing your life is so, so important. So don't forget to show up and to share, even if it has nothing to do with Plexus, because those posts are actually more important than showing up and just talk. If you were to talk about Plexus every single day, people would tune you off, they would not care, and they would ignore your posts, okay? But when you are building a relationship by marketing and by showing up and sharing your life, you guys, people, that's building a relationship, that's connecting to people, so that when you do share about Plexus, people are connected, okay? So think about your post. It's not just about Plexus. In fact, for you to have traction on your Plexus post, it is more important for you to show up and build relationships and engagement through non-Plexus posts. So I know some people get on and they just like forget that they're a human being, and they just talk about Plexus 24/7 all day long on every social media platform they have. That is not what we're about, okay? We are about authentically showing up as ourselves, and Plexus is a part of that, okay? Here is the December calendar. You can, again, screenshot this, and I have a PDF of this, but this is Rebecca Folks. Like, this is what she kind of gives as an outline. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant, and it makes it super, super simple to get a plan. go through this real quick. Top tips are giving value. Like I was saying, it's all about you really providing value. It's not of ourselves, but it's focused on them. Showing up as yourself. Okay, people are following you for a reason. We don't want a copy pasted version of you. Okay, I want to know you. Okay, Plexus can be marketed in any way. It's not about the products. Okay, people are going to buy from you regardless of what you're selling because they know, like, and trust you. So when you have Plexus, the power of your content is you. It has nothing to do with Plexus, actually. It has to do with you showing up as yourself. Speaking to their heart, it's emotional connection. And there's never been a better time. I think that's why we've seen such massive growth in our company this year, is because people are longing for connection. And that's where we get to show up and we get to provide that for them. Okay, so your call to action for this week. We are giving away a ring light, which I love, love, love ring lights. I have actually like 2 or 3 of them. But we're giving away a little 10-inch ring light that you put on your desk. You can put your phone in it. You can make great videos, photos, all kinds of things. So we're giving away a ring light this week for our call to action. So I will make a post about it probably tomorrow morning, maybe tonight, and that kind of gives you your instructions. But what you're going to do is you are going to do some batch photos. Like I said, you're going to get your lean, your active, whatever. Literally, like, I emptied out my Plexus cabinet, grabbed one of each, and just sat in front of a window and took photos. That's what I want you to do. I want you to batch photos, okay? So take, a lot. I probably have like 200 from the time that I did it. And then you grab the ones that you like, add a filter on them, and you're good to go. But batch your photos this week. So sometime this week, it should probably take you 15, maybe 30 minutes. You can take different, like, literally, like, change your clothes. Like, you can bring like 2 or 3 shirts and just change your clothes. So it looks like you have, so it doesn't look like you did it all at once. So you're going to batch your photos. Then you're also going to batch some writing. Okay. So get into a place where you're inspired, you have some quiet, put some music on, sit down for 30 minutes, have those questions that we talked about for your ideal client, and you're going to write. I would encourage 5 separate posts, okay? Because then you're gonna have 5 rockin' awesome captions and copyright for the week, okay? So you're gonna batch your photos, you're gonna batch about 5 posts for the week, and then you're going to fill out your November calendar. So today's the 15th. Start, sometime this week, and fill out the next 2 weeks of November. Okay, I want you to get into this mode of pre-planning. So you can print off a blank calendar off of the internet. You can get your, I don't even have my planner anymore. I've never used it in 2020. But you can use your planner. You can do whatever, but just plan one each day and use that branding, marketing, and selling. The examples that I showed earlier, you can take those and use them and just plug them in wherever you want, okay? I want this to be super simple for you, but what this is going to do is that you are gonna have a plan for how you are gonna show up online so that you're not crash landing and just waiting for inspiration to come, because we know inspiration does not just show up, right? Motivation isn't just gonna come. And so taking some time, we're gonna batch our photos, we're gonna batch our writing, and we're gonna have a plan for the last 2 weeks of our content for November. I'm also gonna double challenge you to do your November or your December calendar, okay? Now, remember, this is just just kind of a once a day, 1 post a day, okay? Life happens and things come up, and you're gonna wanna add a whole lot of things into it. But if you have 1 good post every day, that takes the stress off so much. Okay. So I am going to open it up. If you have any questions, feel free to put some in the comments or unmute yourself too. But that is pretty much everything.
You said you're going to put those, Rebecca's things on the page or something?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just put them in our Rise Academy. I'll make a post with them.
Yes.
I've got two. Yeah, I've got PDF. So what she has, and you guys might be interested in it, she has her own thing called Social Made Simple. And you can actually go, she has a Social Made Simple Instagram page where she gives Instagram tips. But she also has a monthly subscription. And so I've signed up for her monthly subscription, and she sends these calendars in like middle of the month so that you can plan for the next month. So it's just a calendar that she pre-makes. So if you want that, that might be helpful. But I think they're fantastic because it literally takes like where you don't have to think, like, if I know, oh, I need to talk about the impact that the income has done for my family. That's fantastic. I can do that. So it takes the guesswork out of it. So I'll definitely post that. Any other questions? Okay, how I put a preset on a pic. I might. Okay, so if you have Lightroom Mobile, okay? So presets, when you buy a preset, they usually come with instructions. And it will give you instructions of how to get that preset onto your Lightroom Mobile. It does take a little trial and error, I'm not gonna lie. Like the first time I was like, I have no idea how to do this. But you get it into your Lightroom if you want to use Lightroom. There are a lot of other the reason people use Lightroom is because you have a lot of control over your photos. And I've got my presets that I love in there, super easy. I just put my preset on it. But there are ones that have like Snapseed. Let me see what all. Snapseed is an app that has presets, filters already on there. And a lot of people like them. They're not ones you have to buy. So like when you go to put you put your photo on Instagram, and they have the filters, okay? They have like 20 filters. They're totally great. Yeah, Kelly says she uses Light and Airy. Light and Airy, you can find that on Etsy. It's a super popular one. It's really pretty. So Instagram has just the filters. You can't really change them. You can't really do anything. Presets give you a little bit more control. I'm trying to see what else. So Snapseed, I think that's, yeah, Snapseed. I think I've deleted everything else that I've, oh, yeah. So Snapseed. So I almost showed you guys a picture I can't show you about tomorrow. Here, I'll show you this one. Okay, so that's my photo. I'm going to show you reset all. Okay, so that's my actual photo. And then I have, like on Lightroom, I just go, there's a little thing that says presets, and I usually go to espresso. You can see it's not like super different, but this is the one I use on every one of my photos. It's a little bit darker. You can't really see it. But anyways, it's just super simple. So presets, I have all kinds of different little presets, but the ones that I like, I use one called Homebody, and I bought them for like 15 bucks. So that's simple. There are a lot of, like on YouTube, where you can literally just like Google how to use Lightroom mobile presets, and it'll walk you through it. Because it's gonna give you a lot better than I can. But yeah, Lightroom. Oh yeah, I do need to. Thanks, Kelly. So every week we have our call to action, and we have a winner from last week's, from Kelly's, and it is Danielle Armitage. You won the earrings, which I'm super excited about. Yay! So so Kelly will get those earrings out to you, Danielle. And then this week we will do those tasks. I'll put a photo with all the stuff that you need to do, and for the ring light, which is super fun. And then if you complete every one of the call to actions every week, so Some of you guys came in a little after, like after we started week 1 or week 2, maybe you just got into this group. Go back and do the call to actions, okay? Because everyone that does all of the call to actions by the end of the December date will be entered to win a massage. So make sure that you're doing all of them. And so I will post all of that for you tonight, your call to action, and I hope that this was helpful for you. I know it was just kind of a brief overview, but I hope it's helpful. So we will see you guys next Sunday, and I'll give you a little sneak peek. We are doing back office training. Jody is going to be doing a fantastic back office training, which we all need. I'm like, I need this so much. We're going to walk through what it looks like, the rhythms, the things that we need to be doing on a daily basis in our back office. And we're going to have Diamond Ambassador Rosalind Payne, who, if you guys don't know her, she's one of my favorite people in Plexus. She's precious, and she has been a diamond for like ever. I don't even know, like 6 years maybe. She's fantastic. So